In progress.
Good morning. I want to welcome everybody to the Tuesday, October 29th meeting of the St. Joseph County Board of Commissioners. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Gentlemen, our first order of business, re-roof of the St. Joseph County Courthouse. I would like us to move that to the last item on the agenda, the reason being that people were allowed to submit proposals up until 10 o'clock. They were also allowed to submit some electronically, and to make sure that we have received everything and staff has had a chance to list them. They're going to read them off. I'd like a motion to move the re-roof of St. Joseph County Courthouse 1 to the last item on the agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Hazen?
Aye.
Mr. Dieter?
Aye.
And Mr. Baxmeyer?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on, approval of the accounts payable docket. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve accounts payable docket. I'll second that.
Commissioner Hazen?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter?
Aye.
And Commissioner Baxmeyer?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next two items, the Community Corrections Advisory Board appointment, we have a technical issue with one of them. I would suggest that we wait until next week to make both those appointments, and we may have some more at that point. So do I have a motion to table items B and C?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hazen?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter?
Aye.
Commissioner Baxmeyer?
Aye.
Motion to table carries.
In keeping with that theme of tabling things, we're going to do the Business of the Month, the Citizen of the Month, and Employee Month awards. I know we're woefully behind on doing those, but scheduling has caused us to fall behind, and we would like to do those at our evening meetings. So I'd like to put those three items, have a motion to table those items until our night meeting next month.
Motion to table the three items of business of the month, citizen of the month, and employee of the month. Second.
We have a motion to table. Commissioner Hazen?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter?
Aye.
And Commissioner Baxmeyer?
Aye.
The items are tabled.
Moving on to IPG, bid recommendation for the SJEC Water Treatment Plant Phase 3, Project 94202-W.
Good morning, Bill Shalio, Economic Development Director. Attached to the memorandum in your packet is the bid recommendation form for the SJEC Water Treatment Plant Project, and this is Phase 3 of that project. The project was bid out through the Redevelopment Commission and Board of Commissioners. The bids were opened back a couple of days ago, or last week. The bid was awarded by the Redevelopment Commission to HRP Construction in the amount of $25,897,000. Because we had taken this project through both bodies, we need to also have you approve the bid recommendation. So we would ask for your approval of this bid recommendation. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions?
No.
If not, do we have a motion to approve the bid recommendation for the Water Treatment Plant Phase 3 project?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Hazen?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter? And Commissioner Baxmeyer?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on to facility maintenance, approval of the McAllister Cat generator service agreements and addendum for generator maintenance.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bree Roberts, Director of Procurement with offices on the 7th floor.
And Jonathan Baker, Facility Maintenance Manager, St. Joe County, in office on the lower level.
This item before you today is a 24-month term agreement with McAllister Cat for generator planned maintenance. Services under this agreement include both primary and secondary generator preventative maintenance service twice a year, annual coolant sample testing, and annual automatic transfer switch inspections at multiple SJC facilities as outlined in your packet, including St. Joseph County Jail, Police Department, Police Post, Morgue, the Mishawaka County Services Building, including courts, and County City Building, with a separate agreement being for the Dukem facility, as that's funded separately, so we did separate that one out. Facility maintenance and procurement are both in approval of this agreement and ask for your approval.
Is the 911 center covered under a separate?
Yep, so we did make contact with PSAP regarding the tower site generators, and they do handle those separately themselves.
Just wanted to make sure we weren't missing something.
We did touch that base.
How does this cost align with our previous service agreement?
We actually didn't have a previous service agreement for a number of these. And John might be able to expound on that a little bit further.
Yeah, the more we investigate into it, some of these actually were not up to code. So we have done everything that we needed to do to bring them up to code. Now this will keep them in that category for us. It is a requirement.
I think with the facilities listed, that would have been covered years ago.
Right.
Good that you're on top of it and bringing this to our attention. Any other questions? That's right. Any other questions for Bree or John? If not, do we have a motion to approve the McAllister Cat generator service agreements and addendum for generator maintenance?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Commissioner Hazen?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter? Commissioner Baxmeyer?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving right along with facility maintenance, approval of the Apex Integrated Solutions contract and addendum for KMC Controls boiler upgrade.
So this is a continuation of our ongoing boiler project for replacement here at the County City Building Complex. This piece for your consideration today, as you mentioned, is the KMC Controls Upgrade Package. Apex has proposed KMC Direct Digital Controls, DDC, for the new steam boiler system. DDC measure environmental condition and compares the measurements to the desired set points within the settings, calculates an appropriate response if the two aren't equal, and sends out control signals to correct for any discrepancies. This helps us to detect and quickly respond to varying building conditions like temperature, humidity, air quality, and pressure. Our current system controls are antiquated, to say the least, and very cumbersome, time-consuming to operate. The analog controls will remain as a backup, I understand, but moving to direct digital will save us a lot of time and frustration, as well as better maintain those items mentioned within this building. And procurement and facility maintenance are both an approval for this. Ask for your approval.
I would note that just physically, the way the building is constructed with a two-pipe system rather than a four-pipe system, the changeover times are going to continue to be a bit of a problem for us. But having better digital control over the system presumably will help a little bit.
Yes, and we're going through an analysis of all the control systems, valving and everything else, and we are finding some other areas to approach, which we will be approaching soon. But this control system will help so that we can put it into an auto mode and pretty much level all the temperatures out and not have the swing in temperatures like we see now, where we have to physically change valving and stuff. So this will be a big, big plus for us.
I know it's not feasible, but I wish people could see what we're dealing with up there. Maybe we need one of those virtual goggles and we all put that on and take a virtual tour of the 5th floor.
I do it every day.
That's why we hired you.
While you're standing up with us, why don't you just give us a recap of the boiler situation and what was released yesterday regarding
Absolutely.
future activities here.
Absolutely. So there was a press release and both an internal memo released yesterday and in part this morning, so staff should have seen that this morning. Essentially, again, continuing with our boiler replacement project, we have one new boiler that is ready to be delivered. But because of the size and the weight of this item, we do have to have it delivered by crane. And so we have set up with the vendor as well as the city to make that happen on November the 3rd, which is a Sunday. The concern with that date being that there is still absentee voting going on. We have coordinated with the clerk's office and security down in the lobby to make sure that those services can still remain. So absentee voting will still be going on. The point of concern would be for people in this building that during crane operation, we need to make sure that the 4th floor down under that overhang is not occupied. And so that was the internal memo that went out this morning. So again, November 3rd, it's a Sunday. If you did for some reason plan on coming into work, the south side of the county city building will not be able to be occupied between the hours of 7 a.m. and 2 is what we're expecting. But again, absentee voting should continue as planned, and this will allow us to get our one new boiler up so that they can start putting it together and we can get off our dependency on our one left standing older boiler, so.
That was quite a meeting we had, and I want to commend everybody, both of you.
Absolutely.
The vendor, Ideal, security, Amy Rolfus, our clerk, and I think it was a good decision to move it to Sunday. We will incur just a small increase in cost because of the having to pay for extra time on a Sunday, but it ensures that disruption to access to the building, especially for voting, would be minimal. And doing it on Lafayette, or Jefferson rather than Lafayette, I think was a good
Agreed.
decision as well.
Best case scenario.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments regarding the Apex Integrated Solutions contract or anything else? If not, do we have a motion to approve the Apex Integrated Solutions contract?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Hazen,
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, and Commissioner Baxmeyer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. In keeping with today's theme of kicking the can down the road, the next item is the approval of the before-time attendance solutions contract, and going to ask that we table that. It was noted in the contract. I want to commend the auditor's office and legal counsel for bringing it to our attention. Just a technical point that the contract functions under the laws of the state of Michigan, and we would prefer that it obviously function under the laws of the state of Indiana, and before time has not yet responded to that. So suggest that we table that.
Motion to table the approval of before-time attendance solution contract.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Hazen,
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, and Commissioner Baxmeyer.
Aye.
Motion carries. That's tabled.
We're not going to table the next item. Going on to PSAP 911, approval of the Shelby Chair Fleet Program contract for the lease of chairs.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Cromartie here, Administrative Manager for PSAP. This contract renewal is specifically for 24/7 chairs that are used on the dispatch floor. We have used Thomas Shelby for a number of years, and they've done a wonderful job providing quality chairs and also maintenance for those chairs during the contract period.
Having been out there several times, certainly want our dispatchers and others in the center to be comfortable, to be able to do their job. It's stressful enough without being uncomfortable. I noted that the contract does have a slight increase over prior years, but it's not out of line with the way we've seen costs increase the last several years. Any questions or comments?
Sure.
Mr. Cromartie?
Are these, the Shelby chairs, does those have the 360 swivel?
A 360 swivel, I believe, well, we have 3 different styles that we've picked out for the new contract period. And I believe all 3 have that feature.
Okay, I'll have to come out there and test them, thank you.
They are comfortable. Any other questions or comments? If not, do we have a motion to approve the Shelby Chair Fleet Program contract?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Hazen,
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, and Commissioner Baxmeyer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on. Oops. Sure I got the right thing here. Approval of Target Solutions Learning LLC renewal contract for Vector Solutions scheduling software.
Teresa Cromartie speaking on behalf of that as well. We are seeking renewal for our scheduling software. As you're aware, we just moved to the 12-hour Pittman schedule last year, and the scheduling software did accommodate our 6-3 rotation and also now our 12-hour Pittman work schedule. So we're just seeking or asking for renewal of that scheduling software.
Are you able to track overtime on that software?
Yes, overtime can be tracked, benefit time.
Is this a new solution, or have you been using something since
We
you went
have
to the
used-
Pittman?
We have used this since I've been in my position in 2019.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve the the Target Solutions Learning Solutions Scheduling Software? What are words in that one?
So moved.
Motion and a second. Commissioner Hazen,
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter,
Aye.
and Commissioner Baxmeyer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Well, let's keep approving contracts. Approval of the NeoGov Services Agreement and Addendum for SAS Applications and Professional Services.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nick Brovold here, Deputy Director of Operations at the PSAP. So on this one, we're looking to renew our service agreement with NeoGov's Power DMS software. This is our central repository where all of our training manuals, memos, quizzes, etc. are stored and accessed by our staff. This proposal would also include an addendum to add NeoGov's Power Engage program to the current service agreement we have in place. Power Engage is a customizable program that would actually allow us to send our callers automated text messages with a very brief survey to see how our call takers handled their calls. So it's fully customizable. We can outline which specific call types these surveys would be sent out on, and we can customize the duration between the end of the call and when they would receive the survey, so they're not getting a text message immediately after hanging up with us, obviously. The goal of this program would be to provide more positive feedback to our staff and attempt to boost morale. So we can also share these satisfaction scores with all the elected officials who oversee the 911 Center, which is a pretty neat feature. While the feedback portion of Power Engage was definitely the biggest draw for us, the software can also do some other pretty neat things. It can allow us to send automated updates to callers. If a field responder is diverted to a higher priority call, they can get an automated message that says there's going to be a delay in that call for service. It can also allow us to send general prompts to callers to expect extended response times during inclement weather, just a little switch we can turn on, and essentially everyone who calls in can get that message throughout the day. It can also notify our command staff when a specific call type was entered, such as a drowning call, so that we'd be able to check on the well-being of that call taker and begin our investigations a bit sooner. And that is the gist of the addendum. You guys have any questions this morning?
As part of that, for the dispatching aspect, because I've noticed a lot of your stuff in today's, not when, Lopez, when I were around years and years ago, and even former Chief Hazen, that most of the dispatching and calling in that I found is robotic, and it's basically looking at a piece of paper questions as opposed to the human element of knowing what's going on a call. Does that make sense? Is it still, that's part of the things that you're attempting to teach people, to hear the stress in Lopez's voice or whatever it may be, that type of stuff, as opposed to just looking and repeating what's on a piece of paper?
It is kind of a balancing act for sure. The reading of the software, if you will, is attempt to provide every one of our callers with the same standard level of care, so that you aren't receiving different questions or instructions than Lopez if you both called in at the same day. So it is definitely a balancing act to include that human element, to be able to recognize the inflection in people's voices and urgency of some calls over others. But essentially, again, we do attempt to provide standard level of care, and that is the main point of those protocols.
No, you guys do a good job on that, and that's just the norm of, back in the day, dispatchers were either friends, relatives, something of police or fire, so they knew everything. Here you're bringing people in, and I don't know what the percentage of people who know what St. Joe County consists of, or the cities and so on. So if you're saying I'm at the 1200 block of West Washington, somebody would know what that would be, as opposed to East Washington, South Bend, Mishawaka, where y'all at. So, but you guys are doing a good job of what you have to work with and all the other communicative paperwork they get, Mr. Garrett.
I appreciate that. I can demo the 360 spin feature for you, Commissioner Dieter, if you'd like to see it as well.
First you can call me Derek, and then okay, Tony, you're in a car, dispatch Tony. We can do that later. Nobody wants to do that here now.
Any other comments or questions? If not, do we have a motion to approve the NeoGov services agreement?
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. Commissioner Hazen,
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Dieter, and Commissioner Baxmeyer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Moving on to IT, approval of the Choice Light contract and addendum for the dark fiber network subscription.
Good afternoon, good morning. Richard Warfield, IT Director, St. Joe County, third floor of the law building. This is for the approval, I seek the approval of this contract to connect the garages that have been redeveloped. So this will connect them to the county network.
The garages being Riverside?
Yes.
And
Snowberry, I believe.
the one on Snowberry, the
Yes.
New Carlisle
Yep,
garage.
that is correct.
This is probably a question more for, she's here.
Oh.
I don't pretend to be a legal beagle on this, but I got lost, and so did our attorney, on, can't find the cost in there.
Yeah, no problem. My name is Regina Emberton. I'm the CEO of Choice Light, with offices at 130 South Main Street in South Bend. We are working with the county. We have a reciprocal agreement, and we work very closely with the county on their fiber optic infrastructure needs. 4 strands are included with that. When we went to work with the IT department to connect the 2 garages, one of the garages, which was the Snowberry garage, there was room, and that was connected via one of those 4 available strands. The second garage is on Riverside, and that one, there was no available reciprocal agreement strands. So we worked with the county, put together a proposal. The initial cost to connect the Riverside garage is about $21,691. Of that, Choice Light is going to pay $11,691 for that construction, and the remaining $10,000 would be the cost for the county. So a one-time non-recurring fee of $10,000 to make that connection. There is an ongoing subscription cost for that. It's $250 per month, and it's a 36-month agreement.
What does the connection consist of?
The connection is I think it's a 2-inch conduit with the fiber in it. There's 24 strands that go to the building. 4 of those strands will be dedicated in bringing the fiber optic infrastructure from that Riverside garage back to the county IT department. It'll be a direct connection between those 2 points as opposed to going on the county's ring, which is overcrowded. I think you could probably speak more to the technical aspects of it, but that's the gist of it.
So I guess my question would be, those build-out costs and the subscription cost, are those done through a separate addendum that's going to come later, or is that delineated somehow, the actual costs?
It is delineated. There were 2 agreements that the 2 attorneys I was under the impression of had discussed: the dark fiber agreement, which is just a main overarching agreement, and a segment agreement. In that segment agreement, it specifies those exact costs that I outlined: $10,000 one-time fee for the connection, and then the $250 per month for the 36-month term.
I found it.
Did you? Okay.
In the dark fiber agreement, there's typically a template that shows the segment agreement with nothing filled in, but there should be a segment agreement that was included with all that does have the actual amounts.
I kept missing the summary of services. It's about
Yeah, it
4
should be the
pages
first,
in.
yeah, the first
It's
page
near
of
the
that.
end, but it's the first page of that. I just missed it.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure we weren't signing a blank check.
I totally
You might
understand.
appro- Any other questions on the approval of Choice Light contract and addendum for the dark fiber network subscription?
No.
Good. Tony?
Nothing.
If not, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Hazen?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter?
Aye.
And Commissioner Baxmeyer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now, let's go back to the first order of business, the re-roof of the St. Joseph County Courthouse 1.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Bree Roberts, Director of Procurement with offices on the 7th floor of this building. I also have Greg Keel and Eric Stahlheim on the Zoom. So just as a little bit of background information, today we're opening and reading aloud bids and letters of interest in regard to the St. Joseph County Courthouse 1 Dome and Roof Rehabilitation Project. It's also been called St. Joseph County Courthouse 1 Re-Roof Project. Bids were due at 10 a.m. this morning electronically to both the owner and vendor. And so I will turn it over to either Greg or Eric here to itemize those bids received for us.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Eric Stahlheim. I am the Director of Historic Preservation at Kiel Architecture. We have received 4 bids, and these are in no particular order. The first is from Bergland Construction, 8410 South Chicago Avenue, Chicago, Illinois 60617. The base bid number is $2,295,000. We do have 4 alternates on this, and they are as follows. The alternate 1 is a deduct of $75,000. Alternate 2 is an add alternate of $250,000. Alternate 3 is a deduct alternate of $25,000. And alternate 4 is a deduct alternate of $55,000. Bid number 2 is from Zilkowski Construction, 4050 Ralph Jones Drive, South Bend, Indiana 46628. Their base bid is $2,214,000. Alternate 1 is a deduct of $10,000. Alternate 2 is an add of $347,850. Alternate 3 is a deduct of $74,000. And alternate 4 is a deduct of $3,700. 3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 $3 Bid number 3 is from Slay Tile, Sheet Metal and Roofing, 1703 South Ironwood Drive, South Bend, Indiana 46613. The base bid is $1,777,812. Alternate 1 is a deduct of $100,000. Alternate 2 is an add of $350,000. Alternate 3 is a deduct of $55,000. And alternate 4 is a deduct of $30,000. And then our fourth and final bid for this project is from MIM Construction at 4065 38th Street, Hamilton, Michigan, 49419. Their base bid amount is $2,948,339. Alternate 1 is $0. Alternate 2 is an add of $296,800. Alternate 3 is a deduct of $64,000. And alternate 4 is $0.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Were there any vendors who submitted a bid or who wished to submit a bid that were not just read aloud? Seeing none, I would ask that the board turn these bids over to our vendor partner, Kill Architecture, as well as the Department of Procurement for bid tabulation and further recommendation at a later date.
If there are no questions, do we have a motion to turn the bids over?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Hazen,
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter,
Aye.
and Commissioner Backsmith.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
carries.
Thanks, Bree. I'm glad we're moving ahead. Did anyone sign up for public comment today?
We have one, Mr. President, Dan Caruso.
Morning, Commissioners. Dan Caruso, 305 Compton Street, New Carlisle. I'm going to read this today. I couldn't remember it all. We are nearing the end of a 30-day comment period to item for the permit for installation and operation of a data center facility at SBN 100 located at 55001 Larison Boulevard. I have several concerns and questions about the project, which I have submitted to item. I will read those now. By having SBN 100 determined to be a separate entity from SBN 201 and SBN 250, Amazon keeps SBN 100 beneath a threshold that requires further oversight and monitoring of emissions. There needs to be clarification of whether these emergency generators that are going to be on the property in this permit and the associated belly tanks are for just SBN 100 or for the other, all three projects, SBN 100, SBN 201, SBN 250, to the south of State Road 2. If for the entire project, I believe that Amazon is conceding to the association between the sites that causes the 0.87 miles between SBN 100 and SBN 201 to be negligible and insignificant, which opens the completed sites up for additional oversight and monitoring of emissions and airborne pollutants. If the 248 emergency generators aren't for the entire project, can we expect additional new minor source permits for SBN 201 and SBN 250? Would our area then be overwhelmed by about 750 generators containing about 5 million gallons of diesel fuel right above our freshwater aquifer? Now the dewatering permit. Amazon is currently dewatering from SBN 100 into the Nesbazani Ditch at Early Road. They are also dewatering from SBN 201 into the Nesbazani Ditch between State Road 2 and Gordon Road. Amazon was of the belief that the dewatering permit covered both sites, but have been advised by the county surveyor that a separate permit is necessary for the site of the 201 dewatering, and Amazon has made that application. The question is, if Amazon truly does consider SBN to be a separate entity from SBN 201, why would they believe it to be acceptable to use a dewatering permit granted to SBN 100 at Early Road for the dewatering project on Strawberry Road? They can't have their cake and eat it too. I believe the lawyers are playing word games here. The permit needs to be denied, or at very least tabled until an in-person public hearing can be held in order to answer these and any other questions the public may have. Thank you.
No one else signed up? Nobody online signed up?
Correct.
Just one point, not about that specifically, but at our last meeting, somebody spoke about the situation in Leidick with the odor at the lift station. Just want to report that that, as along with another issue, I took them both to the city, and they will respond. I just want to let people know that that is a city, even though it's in the county. The sewage treatment that comes, collection treatment, is a city project, so they will address that. Anything else for the good of the order? If not, do we have a motion to recess?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hayden?
Aye.
Commissioner Bieber? Commissioner Beckmeyer?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Recording stopped.